Good evening. Welcome to episode 179 of the Brewgooders Beer Comics and Assorted Geekery podcast. I'm Jeff, and to my right, but not as far as we're aware, a member of the far right is Stu. So,
Hello.
yeah, we are pre-recording. It's actually Tuesday, so this is one of our pre-recorded episodes. Don't know how it's going to go. We are going to probably do more of these, but this has been a random week for us, in that we've all been really, really busy. So, and it's kind of that weird week before a major event, but I'll talk about that later on. So yeah, me and Stu, we're just going to chat about beer and beer news, and then later on you'll have me on my own talking about comics and comic news and maybe some other stuff. Depends how it goes. What are you drinking?
I picked up a beer from a familiar name to you. I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. I've not seen Alchemy Juice do it. Mm-hmm. Oh, is that the guava and blood orange?
Blood orange. It is indeed.
So they were. If you watch back that episode that we did with Alchemy, they were debating on what they were going to call that. So they've called it Juice Do It.
Yes.
Yeah. What apparently the working title for that beer was Guava Lava Ding Dong.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember them saying that.
So how is Juice Do It? I'm glad it exists.
Yes, it does. Let's see. That's here. But yeah, I picked it up. It smells lively. I mean, I took out the fridge maybe 20 minutes ago, just so it's had a wee chance to warm up. But like the smell in the nose is crazy. I reckon if it is like the blood orange, or actually it's probably guava, like really nails it.
Yeah. I remember the guava being quite strong when we tried it. Obviously, we had it on cask, so.
Yeah, it's got that's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're describing it as a refreshing IPA. So, I would agree.
So where did you pick it up?
Well, this is a good segue. I picked up in Lidl. It was part of their Scottish Craft Beer Festival. So it should be in all the local Lidls at the moment.
Oh, amazing. That's really good. I don't live that close to a Lidl, but I might try and make the trip out tomorrow. There's one in I think there's a Lidl in Cowdenbeath. So
all right. Yeah.
It's probably my closest one. That's cool, man. That's really smart. It was you said it was the Lidl Beer Festival this week, wasn't it? So
yeah, it kicked off last Thursday, and I only noticed it was happening on Sunday. Just looking through my phone, and it came up just talking about the craft beers. Like, crap, I'm usually on top of these. I'm usually there like 10 a.m. on the Thursday, picking up one of each. And it's like, this one slipped past me. So I just went on my lunch hour today, and it's a mixture of ones that they've had previously and a fair few amount of new ones. So I decided just to kind of pick up 4 of the new ones. So Alchemy being one of them. There's a beer from Broughton Ales that I haven't tried yet, Highland Jock, which is their strong ale. So I've got that. A new Cold Town beer and a new beer from 71 Brewing.
Oh yeah, that's a nice wee mix. So 71 Brewing's Dundee. Obviously, Alchemy is Livingston. Broughton is down the borders, and but they're all so Alchemy and Broughton, as you and me found out, are all part of that consortium, aren't they?
Yeah, with Spey Valley.
Yeah, with Spey Valley, and Cold Town on London.
They're
quite.
Nah, it's Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the one. That's where they've got the Cold Town house at the bottom of the grass market that looks up to the castle.
Of course, of course. Yeah. But yeah, that's really awesome. That's all amazing beers. I think Cold Town. I don't know. I haven't found a Cold Town beer that I'm totally obsessed with yet. Usually with local beers like Alchemy, it's Charisma. I absolutely adore. 71 have what was their stout called? Do they have? Is it 71? They've got the stout that's just called a breakfast stout.
Oh, I'm not too sure.
Google that just now.
I've known one like one of their ones I was really quite fond of was Funky Drummer.
Mm.
And but Cold Town Beer, the new one that they put out for this lineup is a New England IPA, so it might be up your street.
Oh yeah, that's totally. Yeah, absolutely. That might be a seller. So yeah, 71 Brewing have a stout. They call a breakfast stout called Breakfast Toast.
Right,
It's like
that sounds familiar now.
it's like a toasted. I think it's like a kind of toasted wheaty beer. It's lovely, like wheat stout. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
I think the first year that I just when you can I don't know if you can attach beers to memories in the same way I can, but like I had I had like 3 cans of it when I was watching my first Wrestle Kingdom live because I thought, oh, it's got breakfast in the title, so I can drink it in the morning. So yeah, so
Yep.
That's really cool. So really good, and I think it's 71 Brew. Is it no? Is it them? They've got their own like tap room up in Dundee
Yeah,
as well.
like a beer garden and all that. I think so.
That's
but
cool.
if you check Messenger, I've sent you the screen caps of the guide because it's quite a lot of beers. It's maybe at least 20 different styles that they've thrown out there. So
okay, hold on then. I'll bring them up and we can have a look.
And there's one of them that's got a great name. That's clearly a reference to something I don't get, but
let's see if I can work it out. Where are we?
It's totally something like, of course, this is craft beer. This is how you get away with naming your beer that.
Okay, so yeah, jam sandwich I've had before. That's the Cold Town Beers fruit ale, which I'm not massively keen on. William Brothers Alloa, I've got their Tayberry beer, which is not a style I'm familiar with. 99 Problems, but a peach ain't one by Cold Town Beer.
Yeah,
that's cool. A nice wee reference to what's that? A reference to Jay-Z.
Yeah, I was going to say that song.
Yeah,
because I don't know, but
Highland
I'm
Jack
familiar with the lyrics.
Highland Jack was the brought one you said, wasn't
it? Yep.
And these aren't pillows. Those aren't pillows by Loch Lomond Brewery. I don't know what that's a reference to. Do you
know? No, nah.
Okay.
There's that. You see the one dipped in blue wax.
Okay.
That's a Spey Valley beer, and 10.5% for just over £2.
Wow. Yeah. I very much so. I need to get along to Lidl tomorrow. Supernova, £2.19 for a 10.5% Imperial Stout is incredible.
It is an absolute C word to get the wax off of these bloody bottles. Like,
or is it?
Like, just when I bought it last year, because that's one of the returning beers, and it was just such a. I'm limiting my swearing. Such a word to open that bloody thing. Like, I remember having to go out with a kitchen knife because the bottle opener wasn't enough.
Wow.
Maybe I'm just coming at it for the wrong angle, but goddamn, it was a lot of effort for beer.
That's I've never had that waxy stuff.
I know it's probably been done for. I think maybe the last one I bought, it's like one of those Tempest Brewing did like big was it 750 milliliter bottles of I think if it's mild or no barley wine, and I picked one up from the Caledonian Craft Beer Merchant at Christmas, and that was dipped in wax, but it was a bloody like £20 bottle of beer. So I think it was supposedly really fancy. It was high volume, a big volume of liquids, and just to cap it off, dip in red wax just to make it look extra special.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, it's aesthetically stunning. Just might be a tricky day over. So Spey Valley is our friends up in Heath. Stuart Brewing in Edinburgh, I've got the coconut. Stuart Brewing are really good. Like, they're quite they're a good gateway brewer, actually.
Yeah, I am really fond of their stuff, and not just because we share the name. Like, if I was going to launch my own brewery, I'm already fucked. There you go. Pound in the jar. But I actually unintentionally bought one of their beers at the weekends. I'm going to just reach off camera and grab it. So I took my kids to Edinburgh Castle at the weekend and got the Edinburgh Castle IPA.
Okay.
And
it was a collaboration with Stuart, was it?
It doesn't say that until I
yeah.
recognize that cap.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's the S with the two hops and the
exactly.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
So and it makes complete sense. Edinburgh-based brewery. They do lots of custom brews, and I went into the Edinburgh Castle whiskey experience room just in the off chance that there was a beer, and there was.
Yeah,
something for everyone.
There would be, man. That's cool. The Stuart Brewing are great. I always remember when the Caledonian Craft Beer Merchant opened, and that was kind of like one of the cool, not quite local, but like local-ish beers. And then they kind of they must have got a deal with Lidl or something along those lines, because all of a sudden Caledonian Craft Beer Merchant stopped selling them, and they stopped selling Tempest as well, which I think Tempest is kind of just outside Edinburgh. And when you were talking to the guy who owns the Caledonian Craft Beer Merchant, Colin, he was saying that he was like, it's not that they're good beers, they're not good beers. It's just the minute you start to get these in supermarkets, they become like these supermarkets buy in bulk, and it becomes, either it becomes really cost ineffective for him to bring them in, but also folk are going to come into his shop and see beers that are like £4 or £5 that you can buy for £2 or £3 in supermarkets, and it just it's not a good image. So they're an amazing brewer, and as I say, I think Stuart were one of my first sort of gateway. Like, I'm going to try things, but I'm going to try styles, but at least I'm going to try stuff local as well.
Yeah, I think it was definitely one of the first craft beers I tried unintentionally as well. I went to one of the Colt Cabana comedy shows at the Edinburgh Fringe. This was at the Monkey Barrel, and it's like one of those comedy bars where you have to go downstairs, like from street level down into like some cellar. And my friend was like, "I'll grab you a beer," and I looked at the list, and it didn't have any of your bog standard beers, like no lager, no Budweiser, no Tennent's, and it was just all craft. And at that stage, I didn't know a thing about craft. And I'm just looking at the list, and I don't know. And then there was one that just said Stuart's First World Problem. That'll do. That's me all over. Stuart's First World Problem. I didn't know it was Stuart Brewing's First World Problem. I'd just seen Stuart's First World Problem. And it's like, me in a comedy club worrying over which beer to buy. Nailed it.
I loved the First World Problems. That was probably maybe week 3 or week 4 of reviewing beer on this show. I got Stuart Brewing's First World Problems from that place in Dunbar. When you go out to Dunbar and when you're driving on the A1 or the M1, it is the A1. Right. And there's like a tap room. It's not even a tap room. It's just like a farm shop on the roundabout just before you head.
Okay.
Like, they had it in there on can. So I grabbed a couple cans. Grapefruit. It's amazing, like a grapefruit. First World Problems, isn't it? It's grapefruit IPA or something they call it.
Yeah, something along that lines.
Well, we and Colin did our first brew on tour, and it was at Dysart Beer Festival just outside your Kirkcaldy, and it was the only time that Stuart ever put First World Brewing on tap for that. It was quite exciting. But gotta love Stuart Brewing. And then there's the 371 Bruins there as well. Obviously, I can't see the picture that well. Obviously,
I've got on my skills. It is a gear shifter, which is a single hop Citra, a fruit phaser, a mango vanilla smoothie, and the one I bought, kind of a big peel. Another blood orange, but this one is a blood orange sour IPA.
Wow. Oh, so you say like a total mix there, eh? And then you've got Crazy Kvik from Sapien, 7.5% from William Brothers, which is a Vike. It's Vike, isn't it? Vike double IPA.
Yeah,
So
aye. I've
crazy
never had that.
Vike. Vike, Vike's the new. Is it like I sort of think either last year or just late into the year before. It was just like that was the total beer, like the new like exciting beer style.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
we're coming to get you, Barbara, from Loch Lomond Breweries.
Mhm.
It's a session IPA. Was that the one you didn't know the reference to?
Yep.
Oh, we're coming to get you, Barbara. It's from Night of the Living Dead.
Ah, right. Okay. I've definitely seen that film once, but it's
Hmm.
just like what we got to call our beer. Fuck
Is
it.
that
We're
line?
coming to get you, Barbara. It's like,
Yeah. Oh no, so it's not. It no. It's so yeah. It's Night of the Living Dead. So it's the bit when right at the start of the movie
wait, is
where
that a Shaun of the Dead?
yeah no,
No.
so it is in Night of the Living Dead, which is
Yeah.
like he's at the graveyard with Barbara,
Mhm.
her brother, and he's just been nippy, and he's like, oh, like, and there's like weird people walking around the graveyard, and he thinks they're just like stoners or something. He's like,
Hmm.
oh, they're coming to get you, Barbara.
Ah,
And then one of them grabs him and bites him and turns him into a zombie, basically. And then that's
okay.
what starts off the. And then obviously Shaun of the Dead, which is like full of deep cut Easter eggs. Like they're
Exactly.
trying to,
Of
they're trying to
course.
convince Sean's mum that they're going to come over and help her. And then Ed picks up the phone and goes, "We're coming to get you, Barbara."
Aye.
And it's yeah,
that rang a bell as I was saying it out loud just
Yeah.
now. But yeah, that's what I just
Yeah.
love about craft beer. Is like, aye, what are we going to call this one? Ah, fuck it. Let's just go for
Yeah.
a deep cut reference.
There's so many of them as well, and like they're all quite similar. Like I need to remember what it is, but I've also drank another beer that has like a Shaun of the Dead reference to it. I can't remember what it was. But again, it was just another line from that film, and it was like, oh, that's a Shaun of the Dead
Aye.
reference.
Well,
But
it's
Sunkist
really
Speech, which is
quotable.
it's really quotable. It's amazing.
Mhm.
It's a really good film actually, and it ages really well. Like I've seen it loads of times. I watch it every couple of years, and I'm like that
Yeah.
and Hot Fuzz, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is just still really
It,
funny.
it's the only thing that takes you out of those films is when you see them go to use their phones, which at the time was probably modern, cutting edge, maybe almost too fancy for the film. And you look at it
Yeah.
now as a man. Look at that flip phone. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, we were we were talking about this on the way back up. I was at Slam Dunk this weekend. I was going to talk about it, but I actually ended up, it was so hot I didn't drink that much beer. Which I had a Slam Dunk IPA, and that was pretty cool. But other than that, we were talking about this on the way up the road. One of the bands, the Academy is. I didn't realize a couple of the members of that kind of formed a super group, which called Cobra Starship, and I knew who Cobra Starship was, and I sort of knew who the Academy was at the time, but I didn't know that they were kind of related. So, but the folk I was with at Slam Dunk were like, I want to go see the Academy is, so I went on with them, and they played the song from Snakes on a Plane.
All right.
And on the way back, we were talking about the film Snakes on a Plane, and it's one of those things like it has aged quite well because it's a B movie, so it's a bit stupid anyway.
Yeah.
But there's a whole plot device about the fact that they need to get photographs of the snakes, and then they're trying to get photographs of the snakes so that when the plane lands, a venomologist, I think that's what his term is, he can make sure that he's got the right venom to help the right bites.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they don't know how to they don't know how to like describe snakes well enough that he can like draw. So that he says like, if you can get photos of them and send them, that would be amazing. And they're like, well, how do we get, we've all got cameras, but how do we get the photos onto a computer to email you? And then one of the characters pulls out her phone and she's like, my phone can take photos and send emails. And they're all like, whoa. And it's framed it's 2005, 2006, and it's framed in a way that like she has a total high-tech camera phone.
Aye.
But actually now all our phones do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you say technology moves so quickly that it ages any film quite quickly, doesn't it? Like,
Aye, definitely. I mean, I reckon if it's one of the the Dan Brown movies with like Tom Hanks, Angels and Demons, and Da Vinci Code, I'm pretty sure at one point like he talks about we need to get to a library, and if I remember it right, they go to a library and I think they're trying to access a database, or no, they were trying to
Yeah.
find an email address, and they opened up a database and scrolled through it until they found the email address they wanted. It's
Rather
like
than
that's
just there would be a search bar in the corner now, isn't there?
and it's like that's not. I don't think you could access people's email by just searching for it in a database in a library. But
Yeah.
it's like that's not how technology works. And I think it's just
No,
when you look back at it, although
yeah.
it's like I don't know. I think that it might have just been like people's not gonna know. They're not gonna
Yeah.
care if that's accurate. But
It's maybe just futuristic or like sciencey enough that you would think, oh, that's how we're
uh,
going to do things in the future. But actually, then it doesn't.
yeah,
Um,
but
what else we got here? Sunket's Peach. Stuart Brewing have got quite a lot going on, haven't they? Stuart
yeah,
Coon and Williams Brothers here. So they got a Sunkist Peach, which is a peach and raspberry IPA. Sounds lovely.
yeah. What about the one
A
next to
lemon
it?
and lime IPA called Citrus Fizz.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds like it could be like a good sour. I had
hmm,
a sour beer on holiday, and I think it was a 71 brewing beer, and that was kind of like a lemon sorbet, and it was
yeah,
delicious. It was really, really nice, refreshing. Not too like, yeah, it was sour, but it wasn't enough where it kind of you screwed up your face every time you took a sip. It was
yeah.
just right. But I feel like lemon and lime IPA sounds like it could be going the same direction, but
I
yeah,
had Tiny Rebel did a lemon and lime IPA a couple of years ago as part of their blended eight. It was like they brought out 8 beers, but if you could pair them up and blend them, and you would get like
aye.
an extra beer. I'm
Mhm.
sure they had like a lemon and lime lager, which was quite nice. But that kind of works anyway.
Mhm.
A key lime pie lager and a lemon drizzle cake IPA, but you mix them together to make a third beer.
Ah,
Whereas
right, okay.
I like stuff like that anyway. I love
Mhm.
the gimmicks. Juice Tiger from Williams Brothers, which is a double dry hopped IPA, and then
Never tried that one either.
Hoppo, Hoppo, which is a
Yes.
West Coast double IPA. So it's Hoppo, the double IPA version of the Hoppopotamus that they do.
Aye, Broughton's
Broughton.
craft line. But yeah, West Coast double IPA.
Wow. So it's
So
7.5%. A lot of
aye.
high alcohol content beers here,
I know.
eh?
And only one of them was like cost you more than £2.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like you're getting some really nice high volume beers for a fairly decent price.
Oh, totally. What else we got here? Massive Juice Hits by Cole. That's the Nipa Cold Town Beers Edinburgh's. So it's a 5%, which is quite interesting.
Mhm.
I quite like Nipas, but they're like usually about 6% ish. I've noticed here that there's two Nipas here that are like 5%. So that'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see. I've had a couple of like 4.2 or 4.3% Nipas. Tiny Rebel did one, and I remember thinking it was almost like the juice was sucked out of it a wee bit. It was like diluted.
Right.
It'll be
Aye.
interesting to see just that slightly higher alcohol level. Coastal Hopper from Stuart Brewing, which is a West Coast triple hopped double IPA.
It's getting like overly complicated now.
Yeah. Fruit Phaser, 7.5% mango and vanilla smoothie IPA from Stuart Brewing. I think we've already talked. Not Stuart,
That's
sorry,
71.
71.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Just Do It, the one that you said from Alchemy that you've just had. You said it was really nice.
Yeah,
And
it
then
is a
Juicy
really nice
Joker.
beer.
Yeah, I'm excited that Alchemy have made it into the supermarkets. That's
I
quite a
know.
big deal.
That was
Um,
more or less one of the reasons I bought it, because like Christ, it's actually getting some shelf room. It is normally Cold Town, Stewart, 71, like taking up the main space. And so the fact that we Alchemy got in there, I was like,
yeah.
I have
So
to try
that,
it.
as it, so I know Broughton and Spey Valley now are coming into supermarkets. It's obviously due to that connection that Alchemy can get in as well. That's really good though,
Exactly.
because they're the kind of, we talked about it with them. So like Broughton are like one of the oldest. They use some of the oldest brewing techniques in Scotland. So they've been around since the 70s, and they're really are doing some really amazing things. And then you've got Spey Valley, who are sort of trying to play around more with the sort of traditional Scottish ale aspect of brewing. And then Alchemy are kind of tiny rebelly, like they'll mix up guava and mango and blood orange and see what happens. So they've got as a team of 3 breweries, they've got some really exciting stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's good to see that they're able to work together as well for the better of. Like when we interviewed them, they were always talking about like the better of beer. You know, it was always about the beer. So that's cool. Yeah, need to get onto Lidl. Like that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's it. That stuff will hang around there for a while. Sure, the popular stuff will probably go within a week, because when I went today, the Highland Jock, I got the last bottle from the shelf. But yeah, that stuff stays there. Like eventually, till it either gets to like the next beer festival or the next big promotion, like that stuff will stay on the shelf and eventually, come down in price for this. But it makes a difference for them stocking that bloody Duff beer that they bring out every year.
Yeah.
So
it's
cool.
not. I'm excited to get out there because I say it's not a supermarket I spend that much time in.
Yeah,
because there's not. I've been drinking Pearl this whole time, which is a Bavarian style wheat beer, 6.2% from our friends at Inner Bay.
Oh yeah,
which is nice. Quite spicy. It's got a wee bit of a. It's got. I love that sort of Bavarian wheat style, and Inner Bay do 2 variations of it. So Pearl, which is sort of, it's got hints of spiced fruit, and then you've got Opal, which has got raspberry in it as well. So it's pretty. So yeah, you should check out that sort of stuff.
I've definitely had 1 or 2 of their beers before, but yeah, I definitely need to try more.
No, they're a great brewery, based in Marquita, not far from us. And the other thing we're going to talk about before we move on to comics and stuff, or before I move on to comics later on, but we want the Vault when we like to talk about sort of random stuff that is coming out of breweries. One of the kind of sort of jewels in the craft beer crown in Scotland. Actually, we need to spend a lot of time. I think we need to spend a wee bit of time this summer in Edinburgh, just taking advantage of the different breweries there, because there's so many. Obviously, Coldtown, what hasn't really been on my radar all that much, just through personal preference. But then you've got all the guys down in Leith as well. You've got guys like Campervan Brewing and Moonwake, and then even if you expand just a wee bit into sort of suburban Edinburgh and out to West Lothian, you've got Tempest, you've got Stewart, you've got Alchemy if you want to go as far as Livingston. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got the Edinburgh Beer Factory. There's so many options. I'm missing loads.
That's why I went and got that. The Christmas beer calendar. I got the Edinburgh one, the Edinburgh beer box, and I thought because I've never tried half these, I went as far as like Stewart and Belfield and kind of like your main ones. But this box covered several breweries throughout Edinburgh, and it was like definitely like give me a big old mystery box of Scottish beer.
Yeah, we should definitely just do I think that's it. Just sort of do different regions of Scotland and try and see what we can find. But
totally.
I've deliberately missed out Vault City, because Vault City are probably one of the wildest in terms of like the variations and the experimentation they do. So
they are mad lads.
This is their new releases. These 3. Sours are definitely their kind of thing, aren't they? Like we talked a lot on the show about the Iron Brew sour that they do. But here we look, a toasted coconut lemon drizzled donut sour. Blackberry
wait,
bucky.
Listen, if you're just quiet, you could hear it. Just quiet. You could hear Andrew cringing off in the distance. Just as you said those words.
You say that it becomes too much. A double blueberry vanilla swirl donut, and obviously probably low key. I will probably try all 3 of these beers just because, and others from Vault City, because I've never been disappointed. And sours are not a beer that a beer style that I have spent that much time with, but I really love the Iron Brew sour they did.
And that's coconut. It. They have that wee tap room. What's it? The wee vault.
Just outside Haymarket,
Yes, like a 2-minute walk from Haymarket, and it's like the littlest tap room that has like maybe about 20 20 beers
Yeah.
on tap. Like,
Yes, it's
that could be a
madly.
good afternoon.
I think so.
Mhm.
I totally agree. And then you've got there's the 10. It calls itself a sesh. So they call these session sours. I don't think you get much of a sesh out of this one.
Yeah,
But they have
left
one
in the
called
right qualify, but the one in the middle was lying.
10.5% blackberry bucky sessional sour. I actually think that might be quite nice.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely. I'll take a third of that one, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, a sesh sour.
We're going to see how much they're got. So they've got a couple of tap rooms, don't they?
They've opened one in Portobello, which is fairly new, but the Wee Vault, I think, is their main one. I've been in there before and bought some of their merch, and whenever like the Iron Brew beers come out, I pick them up, and it was Iron Brew beer, and then they did the Iron Brew Extra. But yeah, even like that peach iced tea table beer
Yeah,
is
that's
supposed to
quite
be
nice.
quite popular.
Yeah, strawberry sundae, cloudy lemonade. It just sounds like we should take Raspberry Rocky Road. We should add Would I Lie She to You? Lie She You? We should definitely need to go with Andrew and let him and just try and find him a flavoured beer that he would enjoy.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like 24 beers later, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's
That
either
Blackberry
that.
Bucky Session Sour is £8, £7.95 for
Yeah, I kind
420
of
mils.
expected that
Yeah.
because that's it. Their beers are, you know, you expect it. It's craft beer prices, and the fact that it's over 10%. And there you go. There's two beers at 10.5%. One is
Yeah.
£2.19. The other is £7.95. So that's the crazy thing about the craft beer festival. But I also like the accompaniment of this blackberry bucky sesh sour. The fact that there is a
The
cross
barbecue sauce.
promotion, yeah, thick
Yeah.
sauce, the bucky blackberry tonic wine chipotle barbecue glaze, and for God's sake, it's dipped in wax.
Does look amazing though.
It's definitely one of those like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think they refer to it as their most often requested style of beer. Like a lot of people, I think, just because we're Scottish and it's alcohol and they're from Scotland, they must have
Yeah.
had a lot of people just going like, "Make Bucky, let's see what you can do."
Yeah. I think it's quite. I think it's quite clever.
It is, and I love the can art. It's cool, and like
definitely
the
got a
can
niche.
wraps are nice.
That crazy sour that sour vibe that they're going for is very
know.
niche, isn't it?
Because that's they
That's
pitch
cool.
it as modern sour beer. And yeah, I don't see other people doing anything like with sours as crazy as those guys are.
Yeah. Like, well, I know quite a lot of breweries do sours, but it's often like I always get the distinct impression, particularly like sort of smaller craft brewers in Scotland, it's as an attempt rather than as like we're
Yeah, it's
like
not like
a
expanding
lot
their
of
core range.
microbreweries that we're friends with will do a sour every so often or a lager. I think there's obviously beer styles that are like certain ales are easier to do than others. I'd always get the impression, particularly microbreweries, that lagers and sours are done through experimentation rather than like
Yeah,
because they really want to make that beer style. So
yeah. And whereas Vault City, it seems to be all about sour. Like that, it just seems to be what they're all about. I don't think we're going to see like a mild from them anytime soon.
yeah, totally agree. Right, join me after the break. Thank you so much for joining us. Go and watch Double or Nothing. Stu. We can maybe talk about it later next week. But exciting things happening in wrestling. Join me in about 2 seconds where I'm going to be talking about a couple of comics and previewing Scottish comic Glasgow Comic Con. Sorry, that happens on Saturday the 3rd of June. Cool. Right. Cheers.
Peace.